Okay, everyone, we have our final competitor of the day. Let's put our hands together for Juan Diaz from Santo Coffee, Seattle, Washington.
How are you, Sam? Hey, how are you? Hey, how are you? Hello. Hey. Hello. Hey, how are you? Hello. Sweet. Okay.
Okay, Juan, whenever you are ready.
All right, 1 second. Yeah. Hello? Okay. Let me check my music, please. All right, a little bit higher. Sweet. Perfect. Now turn it off. You guys comfortable? Ready? Last one. Close out. Alrighty. Music. Hi, my name is Juan Diaz, and I've been thinking about this day for a while, really reflecting on who I am as a coffee ambassador and what the goal of being here is. I came to the conclusion that competition is about transparency, and not transparency in the way that we usually talk about it, by how much a farmer is paid or the cost of production, but rather transparency in sharing information and education. I believe that it's this type of transparency that creates progress in the industry. So I'm so happy today to represent a coffee that represents this idea. So please excuse me as I grind their coffee. All right, judges, go ahead and write down that the coffee I'm serving you today is the legendary varietal Sedan Remain. Now, it originated in the Boma Plateau. It originated in the Boma Plateau of southeastern Sudan, near the Ethiopian border. But this coffee specifically took a long trip and was growing 1,750 meters above sea level in the department of Risaralda, in La Finca La Ribera. It's been naturally cold press processed, and I'm so excited to be able to share what this means and the process that makes this happen. So I'm currently putting 3 double shots of espressos. These are going to be for your signature beverages, and it's gonna give us a total, with an input of 20 grams and an output of 40, it's gonna give us a total of 120 grams of espresso. Alrighty, the fun part. Judges, I'm gonna be putting these coffees through simple distillation. And while we allow these shots to distill, I'm going to gain your trust with our milk course and tell you how this coffee came to be. All right, judges, this coffee begins with Julio Cesar. He's a third-generation traditional coffee grower, motivated by the desire to cultivate better quality coffees. He decides to buy a farm in his country where he can plant varietals that, even though have really low yields, they're known for cup quality. La Finca La Ribera is born, strategically located in the central foothills of the Andes of South America and highly influenced by Santa Isabel and Del Ruiz, two active volcanoes. With that being said, the soil genesis has not yet been completed, making it very young and rich in organic material. And in combination with cooler nights, oh, smoke looks good in here with the light, alrighty. And in combination with cooler nights because of less direct sunlight caused by long clouds during ripening season, it's allowed Julio to develop these wild coffees and flavors that are unique to La Finca La Ribera. So, the slow maturation of this fruit, natural process, has made this coffee extremely sweet and fruit berry forward. But before I get ahead of myself, let me get you these milk beverages. You can go ahead and write down that I'm going to be using 50 grams of free distilled milk. 50% freeze distilled and 50% whole milk. And with the flavors of cherry of this coffee, they turn into the end of a vanilla milkshake. Buttery, shortbread cookie, and macadamia. Judges, if it wasn't for Ben Cut's transparency on the simplicity of freeze distilling milk, maybe I wouldn't be using it today. As I set each of your milk beverages down, I'm going to ask you to simply just enjoy. I've been able to create this harmonious balance with the high acidity of the Sudan Ramey and the glucose found in milk, giving us again these flavors of macadamia, vanilla milk chocolate. Enjoy. Just vanilla, the end of a vanilla milkshake. Sorry about that. And a buttery shortbread cookie. You're going to be extremely decadent, soft, and creamy in texture. Enjoy. And for you, enjoy. Of course, last but not least, beautiful. For you. All right, judges, as you enjoy that, I'm gonna go ahead and get your espressos ready. Please excuse me. judges, let's go ahead and write the recipe for our espresso beverages. I'm gonna be using 19.5 grams of coffee with an output of 50 grams. This is gonna give us flavors of cherry, key lime, and a 70% cocoa with a long lingering brown sugar finish. Now, how we achieve these flavors? Well, remember the naturally cold press process I mentioned? Before fermentation, these coffee cherries are manually sorted twice. They're then submerged in water at a consistent temperature of 15 degrees Celsius for 18 hours, longer than usual. It's allowed Julio to do two things. He's able to take out all low-density cherries and slowing down any bacterial growth of the cherry, thus improving flavor clarity. Judges, as I set each of these down, please evaluate my crema and wait. And so I say to stir and then taste. Alrighty, awesome. Now, the cold press stage. These cherries are put into grain pro bags fully intact for a total, fully depressing all the oxygen. Then they're put into tanks, right, at a 12 degrees Celsius for 3 days. Because at this point, go ahead and write down that your tactile experience will be light and medium in weight. It'll be round, long, and lingering. This is called by the slow and controlled microorganisms metabolizing. Now, I mentioned you're gonna taste cherry and key lime. We achieve this by controlling the lactic acid environment in those tanks. After 3 days, the pH is measured to a 4. And at this point, they're put to be mechanically dried for 7 hours at a consistent temperature of 35 degrees Celsius. Because of this step, you're gonna have the 70% cacao as well as the long lingering brown sugar. After these 3 days, after this, they're rested and then put in African drying beds for 25 days, reaching a total of 11% water content. Judges, these espressos have been cooling down. Go ahead and stir them 15 times to cool it down a little bit more. The spoons to your right, the vessels to your right for your spoons. Please enjoy and excuse me. Remember, light and medium in weight, round, long lingering finish.
All right, let's give it up for Juan's espresso round.
How much time do you have? Timer? Alrighty, judges, now that you enjoy your espressos, let's have some fun. Judges, this is the first time I get to source the coffee on my own, and that is progress in itself. When sourcing this coffee from Cafe Fino with Julio Quinceno, he said this coffee is a wild horse, and I said a wild horse can be tamed. And motivated by his innovation at this stage, I want to showcase our progress by clarifying something so complex. So I made our espressos transparent. I did this with 120 grams of coffee, putting them to this flask and boiling them, creating a coffee cloud, hitting a condenser, creating condensation, leaving behind coloring agents and bitter components. As a result, we have a clear solution of aromatic acids and salts. It's gonna have a smoky aromatic caused by the continuous cooking. And we're gonna put it in this hyper chiller as I explain my next ingredient. Alrighty, as this chilled, each of your vessels have 7 grams of a grape concentrate, right? I made this by using 200 grams of boiling water and 600 grams of grape. Now, I boiled them to soften them, then I pressed them with a large French press and put them in the refrigerator to chill. I wanted to treat these grapes very similar to how Julio processed his cherries, right? Now, I'm gonna be adding this to your espressos. Go ahead and write down that these flavors transform into watermelon, a really light hibiscus tea. Just think about watermelon Jolly Rancher. As I set each of your clear espressos down, I want you to please stir, combining your ingredients. So So I set them in front, wait till I say time to taste. For now, just please blend your 2 ingredients. This is transparent espresso, represents Julio's bare work. Alrighty, judges. Right here, this cloud, I wanted to recreate a sun-dried coffee aroma. It reminds me of the first time that I walked into an African drying bed, as well as creating the 25 days that this coffee spent in the African drying beds. Alrighty, let's go. It also represents on this table the light thin clouds during ripening season. Judges, I believe that coffee education is transparency. And we believe this to be true. EK43s, freeze distilling milk, all have been brought to this stage. So I always thank you so much for your feedback and for your time here. Time.
All right, let's give it up for Juan. Okay, come on over. Oh, where are you? I'm over here. Sorry, I'm short. Terica's tall, so I'm just like right behind her. All right. Man, what a cool contraption that you did for your Sig Bev.
Yeah.
What even like got your wheels turning to try and do that? How did you even hear about it or just kind of discover that?
I don't think I discovered it. I think motivated by, I think somebody tried to do it once before, like 5 years ago, but I think they did like a V60. I just had like one day I was thinking, I was like, man, you know, it'd be awesome to see clear espresso, a clear coffee beverage that had flavors of coffee and combined it with something. So I just decided to try to push my own limits and push the industry's limits and do it.
That's super cool. I've never even like thought about that or tasted anything like that. So
yeah.
Awesome. So now this is your second competition season?
Yeah, second championship.
Yeah. So what is like your favorite part about competing?
My favorite part has to be trying to build community, as well as just sitting down and kind of like hating my life for actually joining at all. Not for real.
Hating your life for agreeing to compete?
Yeah, definitely.
But it's challenging. I know you're one of those that you are always up for a good challenge and pushing your limits and, yeah, proving what you can do. So awesome. Well, excellent job. Let's have one more round of applause for Juan Diaz from Santo Coffee, Seattle, Washington, our final competitor today.